Can you hear me, Mr. Mukhtar? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. René, maintenant? Est-ce que vous m'entendez?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Oui, j'ai entendu, mais ça a coupé.
Okay.
I believe that the internet connection is really bad.
Yeah, I think now it's fine. Okay. First of all, thank you very much for accepting our to be part of our in Horn of Africa Democratic Center, and to accept our interview. I really appreciate, and sorry for the inconvenience that we are having, technical problem. Okay, first of all, Mr. René, as you are an expert on Horn of Africa, particularly Ethiopia, you have written many books, and you have also very well versed, and you have an inside information about Ethiopia. Can you please take us and put in the Ethiopian, historical background, the nation state building of Ethiopia?
No, let me start first.
Okay.
I have not any more first-hand information for the simple reason that I am forbidden to enter in Ethiopia for 2 years. Okay. I wrote articles which shocked some leaders in Ethiopia, so I cannot enter in Ethiopia again.
Okay.
What I would like to say, which is the most important, is that the present crisis can be understood only by starting from Menelik conquests in the middle of the 19th century.
Okay.
Until that, Ethiopia was confined to the Abyssinian borders, Abyssinian highlands. Okay. Then Menelik started the expansion of this Abyssinian highlands.
Okay.
And he conquered the peripheral parts, mainly Oromia, Benishangul, Somali, Afar, etc. And these conquered territories became, in fact, quote unquote colonies.
Okay.
Since then, the ruling system in Ethiopia has always been dominated by one man from one ethnicity.
Okay.
Okay. Haile Selassie, Mengistu Ali Mariam, Meles Zenawi. And the question is, who will rule Ethiopia again? But the crisis, it's not a crisis of leadership, but it's a crisis of transition, because this age-old system with a strong in Abeba can
yes,
most of this very
okay. Can you hear me now?
All diverse
very well.
The grievances of the different people of Ethiopia. That's a question.
Okay. Okay. So what you are saying then, you can sit in the middle, please. Yes, thank you very much. I can see properly now. Yeah, you are saying that this is expansion, Menelik expand, to the incorporated other state. That's what you're saying. So can you please talk about the unitary state versus the federal, school of thought? Can you hear me, sir?
No, the unitarian state is what has existed until now. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. Yeah.
From my end, I hear you.
Yeah. Can you talk about that? I'm talking about, after Haile Selassie was overthrown in 1974, we introduced, the Dergikam, and he was saying he's a socialist. And after that, we moved to the, EPRDF took the power, and they introduced what they call it a federal system, when the nation nationality are the according to their constitution. Can you talk about that, the transition from the imperial to in EPRDF and until now?
So you asked me the question, or you asked the question to Mukhtar Ismail?
Oh, we can bring also Mukhtar. Mukhtar, go ahead now. Mukhtar, can you hear us?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I hear you. Thank you very much. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Exactly, what was the question you asked? Sorry.
The question is the nation-state building from the imperial, model until now. Can you shed light on that?
Actually, the state formation and the nation building, as described by Rene, was the current Ethiopia, the geography, the shape, and the population, was formed through conquest by Menelik. I think it was in 1919 and early 20th century by Menelik, modern Ethiopia, who expanded the territories, the current geographical territories of Ethiopia through conquest. He conquered other nations like Somali. Actually, Somalia was incorporated by the colonial. It's a bit separate case. Somalia, Somali region, and Eritrea, their case was a bit different, but the Oromia, later, Afar, all these nations, was incorporated through conquest. And Eritrea, by then it was a bit separate, and Somali region was a bit separate. Somali region was colonized by the British, and the Eritreans under the Italian, maybe under another, resolution with the colonial powers was incorporated through Ethiopia around 1960s for Somali region, and Eritrea the same case. But generally, in the current shape, it was through conquest.
Okay, Mr. Rene, we lost again Mukhtar. Can you please talk about, I want to focus on the EPRDF now. Ethnicity was introduced as a basis for the reconstruction of the Ethiopian state in 1991, examining the politicization of ethnic identity before and after the federation of the country, nation, nationality, and was instituted. Is this was only like what they call it, a paper tiger, just to put on the on the paper, or is this was a really genuine that reform that has been done with your understanding?
Somewhere in between, because on one side the power remained in the hand of one man in Addis Ababa. It means that the power was a personal power centralized in Addis Ababa. And in this regard, the constitution was not respected. Okay. On the other side, it's absolutely true that some progresses have been made to take into account the diversity of the people of Ethiopia.
Do you hear
local
me,
regional
Mukhtar, I asked Rene a question, so you will come back after that. Just hold on. Okay, Rene, continue, please.
So regional assembly were established, regional government was established, the teaching language was in accordance with where the people live, but in fact, the new regional leaderships could act only in accordance with the orders and under the authority of the Addis Ababa center. Mm-hmm. So, in fact, the state remained unitarist, but a growing feeling of regionalism appeared, and this growing feeling of identity is at the root of the present crisis. The present crisis occurs because the constitutional system which was implemented in 1993 was not completely implemented, only partial.
Okay. Mukhtar, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Doctor.
Okay, Mukhtar, I would like to ask you the same question that I did with Mr. Rene. You see, some also unitarists, always they're arguing that Ethiopia introduced a federal system. And they were saying the ethnic, politics always is prevailing in Ethiopia. But according to Rene, what he's saying, it was a mixed. With your perspective, you were also an expert. I mean, you're an expert in Horn of Africa, and you work also in Somali region. When you look, what has been, put it in the constitution, and the practicality of that within Somali region, can you shed light on that?
Yeah, thank you very much, Doctor. Actually, I think the constitution, the federal constitution, was, I think, written very well. I think, and it was officially endorsed in 1995. The constitution allow, if you see the first part of the constitution, it allow, like 9 federal states. There was, liberal, like individual and communal rights. There was a freedom of speech, freedom of association, democratic and liberal institutions. All these things was very much codified in the constitution, but unfortunately, their practicality was in question mark. Nothing like liberal institution or democratic elections, parties, free, all these things, we have never seen it. We have been in the region, and it's not only in Somali region, this was across the board in Ethiopia, state, like Oromo Liberation, they were partners during the transition. On the left here also, there were partners. And then when EPRDF, especially the TPLF who are on the helm, when they consolidated the power, they started, cutting the contacts with those partners who are in the transition, and then they started consolidating the power. They started controlling the power and consolidating, and then they imposed, due party that they created, like now in Oromia, they created what they call OBDO, the current guys who are in the helm of the country. It is something, hand created by TPLF. They created this so that they eliminate the legitimate party at that time who are in partnership with them when they were coming to power, like on the left. Then they created this OBDO. The same thing in Somali region, they created a shadow party with their, what do you call, minions or whatever, people who are loyal to them. So those people who are representing the wider and the broader communities in respective, like in Amhara, the same thing. They created a shadow party. So they empowered those parties that they created, and then totally the whole federal and autonomy was hijacked, and they make like TPLF controlled thing, and a shadow party that is coming under them, who are loyal to them, and then they started, monopolizing, the economy, the social and everything. It was just like now one party. It's just in the name it said like EBRDF alliance or coalition whatever, but it was only TPLF controlled thing. They were controlling. Mala Zinabu was was the big man. He had the the say, the final say. He does what he wants, and all the policy that he thinks is relevant was to other regions, other parties that they created. So overall, I can say that the federal system, just by name, by theory, it's in the constitution, but when it becomes to implementation or the application of this good constitution was never in practice. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Rene.
Please, yeah, please let me raise a point after what Mukhtar Ismail said.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's true. The constitution was on the paper. Okay, what is also true is that the local officials were finally, through a pyramid, under the authority of the central power in Addis Ababa, namely Meles Zenawi. But these local officials, they were Oromo, they spoke Oromo in official meetings, they were Somali, they were Afar, etc., etc.
Yes.
And this fact has raised, that is very crucial to understand the present crisis, this fact has raised the ethnic feelings and has increased the ethnic grievances of the different people of the different nationalities and people of Ethiopia. It's a two-sided effect. The constitution has the implementation of the constitution has a two-sided effect.
Okay, that's a good point. But let me add another question here. One of the leading scholar that wrote in her thesis she did her dissertation on Ethiopia, and her name is Zahra Wang. She's she's Irish. She teaches right now in university in Ireland. And she wrote the theme is
which name? Saravon.
Zahra.
Saravon.
Yeah, Saravon. V-A-G-A. Yeah, and she wrote ethnicity.
He's in Scotland. Huh?
Yeah, in Scotland. Yeah, sorry. Ethnicity and power in Ethiopia. Here is the key point. In 1974, when Haile Selassie was overthrown, they are saying there was a revolution, and the student, movement participates, and they eradicated the feudal system at that time. That was well done. Although Derg was a rare terror, and we disagree with him. Second, when the EPRDF took the power, one of the key questions in Ethiopia was this two thorny question was hunted throughout the Ethiopian nation state, which is, the land question and the question of nationality. Zahra's, argument is this, and can you were earlier saying there was a crisis, and I would like to pinpoint this point, and then so you can shed light on it. Her argument is the architects of ethnic federalism are influenced by a Marxist formulation of the national question, which incorporated, here is a key point, contradictory element inherited of the notion of granting self-determination, the conviction that self-selected community respond better to mobilization.
No, it doesn't work.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. My key point is she's arguing EPRDF did not solve the self-determination up to secession. They didn't solve. It was on the paper. And the crisis, as you say right now, Ethiopia inherited the last 2 years, the war in Tigray and other elements, is the source is that. Can you shed light on that? Can you hear me? Mukhtar, can you step in while we are waiting for Rene? Mukhtar.
So, yeah, exactly. Yes, I hear you. Can you come back with the question, please?
Yeah. The question is EPRDF, when they took the power, they introduced this, self-determination Article 39. But on practicality, they did not solve. That's my point. Okay, Rene, can you hear me now?
Exactly.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, can you please, sorry, Mukhtar, can you talk about it, that the premise that EPRDF are saying that you can mobilize through linguistic and ethnicity the people, while you needed a vanguard party at the top, and TPLF was that. Our argument is that is the crisis that Ethiopia inherited through this, state. Can you shed light on that?
Now, the question, I repeat, the question of nationalities appeared 1.5 century ago with Menelik. And this question of nationalities has never been solved. Under Haile Selassie, the rulers were Amara, the colonizers were Amara. Okay, under the Derg, the power remained in Addis Ababa, remained centralized, but some progresses were made regarding this famous question of nationalities. For example, an institute of nationalities was created, or the children.
Yes.
So
I cannot hear you, Mr. Rene.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you continue? Can you continue, sir? Can you hear me? Mukhtar, can you step in, please?
Yeah, actually, Doctor, thank you very much. It could have been very good for Rene to answer that question, but in his absence, I think I can give my view. Okay. I think the whole issue was sort of mixed signal. In one hand, you see people are practicing their language for the first time. These are also that linguistic administration, whereby people can administer themselves, interact with the public on their own local languages, which was, previously was not there. And people of the same form and shape are in the helm of the power. People for the first time are practicing their culture, their religion, or whatever. In that sense, I think it's something have been partially implemented. But again, as he said, it's a mixed signal. And then you see the PRF centralism, that control, whereby all decisions, policies are made at the center, and whatever the center try to devolve and are implemented by the regions. So the whole issue when it comes to power, it was centralized. There are minor elements of like culture, linguistic freedom, local people with the who knows the local language, who are in the helm. So I can say that it is a sort of mixed signal, where partially part of the what was the paper was implemented, while another part was totally disregarded. Yeah.
Okay, Mukhtar, recently you have written an excellent article under the title of Ethiopian Nation Building is Hunted by its Troubled History. Can you please walk us through, this article that you wrote and give us, just a summary of that?
Yeah, actually, if I summarize, it is just what we are discussing, how Ethiopia was formed at the beginning. There was three-pronged, pronged that was fundamental, the state formation, which was used by the empires who are ruling at that time, like Menelik, who is considered the father of modern Ethiopia. And then later on, the same thing was used by Haile Selassie. This three-pronged element was, the land tenor, then Amharic being the language of the state, and then the advancement of this Orthodox Christianity. These were the three main pillars that Ethiopian state formation was underpinned. Then we know about the fight between Ethiopia and the Italians, and then later on, I think there was a treaty between Italians and Menelik, and then there was that what you call zeal and overjoyed, which led to Menelik to expand.
Hajjaba,